So, in the past few meetings, some of the sisters have been asking me some questions. So I thought, okay, I'll answer some of the questions and continue from there. First of all, I want to praise and thank God for the yesterday's wedding. It was so beautiful. We felt God's presence there, and it speaks so much that a church which is which is there to glorify God, and the husband and wife, I mean the bride and bridegroom, want to glorify God in their lives. It makes such a difference in the whole wedding. The whole atmosphere of the wedding was so sacred. Lot of people who have planned months ahead for weddings, it doesn't go so smoothly as yesterday's wedding went, and God spoke to us. Especially I want to praise and thank God for the way Crystal's testimony, when she said, before she found the Lord, she used to be afraid of what people would think of her, or how her dress and everything. But after she accepted Jesus, her desire was, I want to make Jesus happy. And I thought that really, and you could see from her, everything about her, she wanted to make Jesus happy. That whole bearing of hers, we will not describe it. She wanted to make Jesus happy. And I thank God for a young girl like that who wants to make Jesus happy. I was thinking, growing up as a child, my dad and mom were believers, especially my father. He took a radical stand against Orthodox churches, and he accepted the Lord and took baptism. So he wanted to bring us up with that freshness and zeal which he got after he accepted the Lord. So he never allowed my mom wore jewelry, but he never allowed my mom to poke my ears. Though in a custom, when a child is certain age, they poke the ears and they put a chain and all. But I remember growing up, my dad and mom arguing about, let her decide. Don't let you don't decide for her. Let her decide about jewelry. And all along, I realized when Crystal was speaking yesterday, I thought of this. All my life, I wanted to make my dad happy. If he saw, and he would always choose the simplest type of clothes for me, the dull colors and all that. But I would wear it because I knew that daddy liked it and daddy is happy with it. And if he said, like, you look so nice, I knew that he's not looking at my anything, my clothes or anything, but because he likes me. That's why he. And that all along, even when I went to college, that was the thing in the like the foundation in my life. I want to make daddy happy. If daddy is happy with me, that's all. So even if he's little upset with me, I feel so hurt that why is my daddy upset with me? And I want to make daddy happy. Then I thought yesterday when Crystal was saying, I wanted to make Jesus happy with my life and with my dress, shopping for the wedding clothes and all. I wanted to make Jesus happy. I thought that is really the thing which should be like the blood running in our veins to make Jesus happy in everything. That will answer the questions which all of us have. Any question which we have, Lord, am I in doing this? Am I going to make you happy, or am I going to grieve you in any way? There's no rule in the Christian life. There's no set of rules. If you look at it, there are rules in the Bible. If you see, but if you look at the Bible with, oh, don't do this, do this, do this, we live our life according to rules. And we bring up our children also according to rules and say, yeah, this way I shouldn't do this, and at such and such a time, and when somebody comes, I should do this. So we make our children like pretenders, acting a life which they need not. But if we ourselves are living a life of ease, Lord, my whole desire is to make you happy in everything I do. Then it won't be a bunch of rules, and it won't be heavy also. It won't be heavy for us to follow the Lord, to become a Christian, to love our relatives who are harming us or criticizing us, our friends, whether we have friends or no friends. Whatever it is, as long as we are making Jesus happy. So I thought of the one verse which God spoke to me when I accepted the Lord. That's in 2 Corinthians 5:15. And that verse has always been with me. like reminding me if I want to live a selfish life or do my things for my own comfort or do things for the Lord. This is the verse. He died for all, that they who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died and rose again on their behalf. From the time I accepted the Lord when I was about 14, that's another big story. I don't want to come back to that, but I almost died of food poisoning, and the Lord healed me, and after that, I accepted the Lord. So after that, I thought, now the Lord has given me a life. I would have died and been rotting in the grave, but now God has saved my life so that I should not live for myself anymore. And from those days, I thought, I don't want to live for myself. And I looked for opportunities where I can like help my mom. We are 9 children, there's always a lot of work. And I could easily think, oh, I got a nice storybook from school. Let me find a small corner where nobody will find me and sit and read that storybook till it's over. Then in my, and I'll wait for that moment when I could read that story and nobody should mind. Then this verse would come to me. Do you want to live for yourself? Do your own thing, read your storybook or do you want to? This is a time when your mom needs help. Go and help her. And I found that was always like coming up in me. The Lord was reminding me, don't live for yourself. You can do a lot of things for yourself when you will get time for that. But this time when your mom needs help, you won't get that time again. And I go and tell mommy, I'll do this, you go do something else. And I found like it was God gave me a joy in doing that. It was almost like I could see like Jesus was smiling at me. Yeah, good, you did that from that age. And and growing up also, I found like when I went to college and studying there in hostel, there'd be a lot of people who have problems. Like some girls would like some boy, and that boy is ignoring them, and they want to come and tell me that. I thought it was so silly, but then I thought they need help. But God used those opportunities to help me to bring them to Christ. Two friends in my class, they had a fight about something. So one girl came and told me this happened. So I said, forget about the fight. Do you have a friend? You're thinking of a friend. There's a best friend you can have, and that is Jesus. And I told her the Lord, and she was so ready, she accepted the Lord. Then the other girl with whom she had a fight came and told me, not knowing this. I said, forget about the fight. A real friend you have. And she also accepted the Lord. Like that, there were 7 girls in our class, for different ways. They accepted the Lord, and I said, now God has brought in our own class out of 25 students, 7 of us in this hostel are in this class. We know the Lord. Let's meet together for prayer. And we'd meet in the terrace and we'd pray. And God united us so much. Like we didn't think there was such a joy in our heart. Those small things, grievances which we had didn't come up at all. It was really the Lord. We wanted to make the Lord happy. And then I want to fast forward, come to my marriage. That's also another big story. I want to say how God led me to marriage very briefly. I was thinking like in my family we are 9 children. I'm the oldest. My dad gave me a good education. I became a doctor. I said all my classmates were thinking of getting married, proposals, or they had boyfriends or something like that. I said, I decided I don't want to get married now. At least 5 or 6 years I want to work and help my dad financially so that my younger ones can come up and then I'll get married. And any proposal came, I'd say, wait, that's not God's time. And God's ways are so wonderful. I was one of the first ones in my class to get married. I said, Lord, I told my dad, wait, but my dad was very anxious since I knew that this is God's will for me. And he thought that Zach may change his mind and marry somebody else. He said, no, if this is God's will for you, I want you to get married first. So we have our own wishes. I said, Lord, I want to give up my career for the sake of my family, for the sake of helping my younger ones. And I put that on the altar, my career, everything on the altar. And the Lord said, are you ready to do my will? And not my will, but thine. has been another thing which has always come to my mind. I'm straying from my point, but that's how the Lord has been leading me. And then um, after I got married, I thought, now my desire to help my parents is there. I got such a good education, and maybe I can do a little part-time work and help my father. See, all along, my desire for career wasn't there. Like for some girls who are married, some have asked me, see, we studied so much and we are technical people. How I find it very hard to give up my job and stay at home. Do you think I should give up my job? So that's a question which a lot of career girls face nowadays. We see a lot of our friends going in in their own cars, going for work with their stuff all ready, and then we sit at home just like our not uneducated mothers sit at home and do the cooking and cleaning and washing and taking care of the kids, and we think that my life could have been that girl's life. What am I sitting here? And we have that confusion in our mind. Um, should I have been there? As long as we have that confusion and um, um, we are not going to grow spiritually. I read at one time when I was facing that, God, that kind of confusion in my mind. What should I do? Or should I work or not? The Lord brought through a message of my husband's or two C's that are in the Bible. One is the C in Isaiah. Let me find that verse. Isaiah 59:21. It says, the wicked are like a troubled sea. Isaiah 59:21. Wait 1 minute. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Oh, no, it's not. 29. Oh, that's wrong. Sorry, what? 59, 41. Yeah, 41. No, 29. Sorry. Sorry, I wrote the wrong verse. Can you say that verse again? I think I got it. Anyway, there's a verse. I'll find that verse afterwards. I wrote the wrong verse. Where it says that the wicked are like the troubled sea, always churning up refuse and mud and all that is in the bottom of the sea keeps coming up. When there's a storm, when a storm comes up and there's a lake there, and water gets disturbed, and all the things in the bottom of the lake keeps coming up. You must have heard my husband speaking on that topic sometime.
Isaiah 57, verse 20.
Thank you. 57, verse 20. Yeah. Thank you, Jessica. So our lives can be like that troubled sea, always coming up with the refuse and things which we don't want anybody to know, but it keeps coming up. The bad things we did, the bad arguments we had, all those things can keep coming up. And this desire to go on with a career can be like that troubled sea, always coming up. I want to work. I need money. If I were working, I could have got this kind of watch. I could have got this type of clothes. I could have done like this, that. And always that inside is an unrest also. We should not allow our life to be in that unrest. Whatever the circumstances, financial difficulty, comparing ourselves with others who are working, those are the ways in which this lake gets churned up. Or sometimes our relatives may come to us and say, look, you are sitting at home and just wasting your time. Look at so and so, she's doing her home and she's working. and relatives can put pressure on us. You're working, and look at you, you become like look so old and haggard. You should be like this and like that. And those are all the voices which can make this trouble seed keep churning up, churning up. We should put and say, Lord, I don't want to hear those voices anymore, which are from people or from my own heart, which comes up, or what relatives say. Sometimes our relatives, especially from India, they see you all have come to America to work. They say, "Oh, your daughter." People are saying your daughter-in-law or daughter is in America. She must be sending lot of dollars to you. They don't know how you are struggling, paying the mortgage and paying the house rent and paying for the babysitter or whatever you're doing. But they think like, oh, dollars must be coming and you must buy land. You must buy, because we sold our land and we sent our son to study, and you got married. Now you should also work and we should buy some more property. We should buy some flat here, there. All those are voices which keep churning, keep it coming up and churning all the refuse. And as long as we allow those waters to be churned up, and the devil adds to that. He's the master churner. He adds to making all that, condemning us. You're no good. Even in church, you're no good. You confess so many times and you're a failure. You're grumbling and murmuring. You hear about it and you're sitting there like a perfect person, but you're inwardly grumbling. You're dissatisfied. You're covetous. All those things keep churning up, and we should say, Lord, enough. I want to put a stop to this lake, troubled lake, which is churning up refuse. Help me, Lord. By ourselves, we can never make that lake come to a standstill. It's only the Lord who can help us. There's a verse is not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. Only the Holy Spirit can bring that calm into our lives and put an end to that. And it's not just once. After a few minutes, it may come again. A phone call comes from a mother-in-law, and then again it keeps churning up. Or something husband says, or children do something, it keeps churning up. But say, Lord, help me to put that. After some time, when we submit our life to the Lord and say, Lord, not my will, I want to please you in everything. I want to, ultimately, I have to answer to you. And we place ourselves on the altar and submit to God. After some time, that churning comes down. I can tell you that. In the beginning, when I couldn't work, and my dad was struggling to educate the younger ones, sometimes the churning would come. I said, Lord, I'm not wanting to work for my own comfort. I want to work to help my dad who brought me up. That also is a subtle way, like the devil saying, feel sorry for yourself, or feel sorry for your father. I said, Lord, you arranged this marriage for me and I'm in your will. I want to be in the center of your will. If my husband says you should go to work, then I'll work. But now I have a baby and I feel that I should be at home with the baby. You take care of my younger ones. I have no desire to be come up in my profession and be the top doctor in Velo. And I was doing anesthesia, which is like a good field. They're well paid, and I could come up and up. And my boss was very keen that I should do, like he'd give me chances to take classes for the students, and he wanted me to come up. Then the baby came. I came right down to earth. I thank God for that. And then I said, Lord, I want to not listen to my dad or my father-in-law or any relatives or my friends who come to see me. Don't want to listen to any of that. No, this is your will. Some others may be able to work and manage, but not for me. In this matter, I want to just ask those of you who are working or thinking you should work, ask yourself, why do you want to work? Is it for some financial need? If your husband doesn't have a good job, or he's struggling, or really you have some need which only you and your husband and the Lord knows, then say, Lord, you know that I have this need. We are in debt or something. Then the Lord will clearly show you, okay, I got a job for you and you can do that and I'll help you. And if the Lord does want you to He'll give extra grace for you to manage the home and to take care of things. But it won't be easy. It's a big struggle. It will be a big struggle to watch your spiritual life, especially because you're running when you go to work, your mind is on the money part of it, making more money and not losing your job. And it's like my husband says about the rubber band which is fixed here, and you're stretched over there trying to. But then you should come back to the center, that is God, and God and us. That relationship you have to guard. If you are a working mother, you have to guard that relationship. It's not so easy as some of us who are at home. It'll be harder for you, but if it's God's way, God will give you the grace. But always remember, this is not my place. My career, my work, my friends, making money, and having the comforts of America, gadgets and all to make life easier. That's all like the stretched rubber band. My natural thing is not there. When I come back, I should come to rest in God. I should be with Jesus, and ultimately I'm going to be with Him. All these things which I earned, millions of dollars, all the gadgets, the beautiful home, everything is going to get burnt up. I have to leave everything, even if it's not the end of the world. The Lord may call me home and say, "Okay, your time on earth is over. Come back." Then it's only the Lord and us. So always remember, if you're a working person, come back. Like you should work like your rubber band stretched there. But come back home to the Lord and say, "Lord, you're my treasure. All the money in the world which I can earn, all the gadgets, all the jewels or whatever I have, more than everything, Lord, you're my treasure. I have you. If I have you, I have everything. If I lose you, even if I have the whole world, I lost everything." Always you must make that prayer. You can't just keep it, think of it and leave it. You say, whenever you get a chance, pray silently. Pray in your mind also. You can get distracted. I find like I whisper to the Lord, then the devil hears. He hears also that what I'm saying. I say, "Lord, you're mine. I belong to you, Lord. Whatever happens, let nothing come between you and me. Um, Even if there's a trial, let me be okay with you." Like I read 2 weeks ago that verse, my happiness and my comfort is that everything is okay between you and me, Lord. That dedication we should have, not just like on Sundays, but whenever we can. When any trial, we should consciously make an effort to come back to that center. Like all the cycle wheels come back to the center. We should make an effort. Say, "Lord, I'm busy with my work. My children are keeping me awake, whatever it is, but I come back to you. You're the center of my life. You're the center of everything. I dedicate myself to you. Even if I'm busy with everything." And I've heard all kind of voices. I want to send all those voices away from me, and I want to renew my covenant with you. That we should do. That's a prayer. There's no, we can read written prayers of other people. That will inspire us. But we pray from your heart, even a half a sentence that means so much to God. It's like a baby saying, suppose your baby started, like baby Noah started saying, walking, and then he says, "Pop, Daddy." A mommy said, "Did you hear what he said?" He said, "Daddy." That one word, half a sentence we say to the Lord will make him happy. And again, coming back to what Crystal said, I want to make Jesus happy. And to what I said about I want to make my dad happy and to make the Lord happy. If we make the Lord happy, that His pleasure will be on us, His smile will be on us. So, are we working for the sake of some financial gain, or are we working to please our relatives? Now, if you're working like your relatives are saying, "You go to work, then whatever money you earn, you'll be sending to them, and it's not going to help you. You'll be just becoming like the slaves in the Israeli days. You'll be work day and night. You send the money home. They'll not be happy with the $100 which you send. Next time they'll say, "Why don't you send 200?" And so on. It will go on, and you'll be just. So you have to realize: are you doing that to please your relatives? If you're doing to please your relatives, somewhere you have to. You and your husband can sit down and talk and say, "We've now worked so many years for our relatives. We sent so much money home. Let's at least do something for our future. We must have something to." And then, don't make an argument about it. "Oh, you're always helping your father. You're always helping your mother." No, we should never argue in our family. It should always be a smooth relationship, and we should say in a nice way, submissive, but respectful way. That's another thing. When we talk respectfully to our husbands, our children will learn to talk respectfully. I've gone to homes where the children are very respectful. Then I know that home atmosphere has been a atmosphere of respect. Why her mother has talked respectfully to her. But when I go to some other home and I disrespectfully, there's somewhere that has been disrespectful. And most of the time it could be the mother who has been. I don't want to judge that home, but I could say if I talk disrespectfully to my husband, I know my children will talk disrespectfully to us and to others. Growing up in India, when my children, some sisters were asking, how did you bring up your children? One of the things we tried our best to tell them was to respect others. In our Indian culture, we always say, uncle, even if it's the postman, we say postman uncle has come. Even a taxi driver, auto, anybody who says, even the servant works at home, we won't call um, tell the children, call Rani and come. No, we say call Akka or call sister. No, we always teach our children, talk respectfully to people who are older to you. And that's such a good culture, such a good habit from our Indian culture. I don't want to promote Indian culture, but that's such a good, valuable thing, which I found. I was happy I was growing up, bringing up my children in India, because I could teach my children. Every Sunday school teacher was Uncle Newton, Uncle Nitya, Uncle. And then when they became bigger, they would say brother so and so. No one will call by the first name. But when children grow up here, and you bring up your children here, and they always used to calling even the teachers by the first name. They go home and they may call your dad, hello Mr. Ramalingam, or something. Hello Vijay Kumar. How will you feel? How you brought up your child to call by the first name? Even if it's 2 years older, 1 year older also, we say Anand or Akka or Achachan in our language. And so you have to prepare our children. They teach them. You must. And that's another thing which I emphasize at home. When I used to take my children to some of my relatives' home, especially, they would talk about others with some nickname. They'll say, oh, that man with the long teeth, or that man with the crooked eye, or the leaky eye, or something like that. And I used to feel so bad. I thought, I'm not going to bring my children here because they learn to talk about others like that. And that's another habit we have to teach. Parents, we should not refer to anybody in a disrespectful way. They say, oh, that he did like that. That same one who the children are hearing, and they take it up, and that will be their habit. So always make it a habit to talk respectfully, and don't say, call anybody by first name, but call with Mr. So and so. In this country, we don't say uncle or whatever. You can say Mr. Say Mr. Jeremy or brother Jeremy or whatever it is. Any sister who's older to you, to your children, you can say, call them Akka or sister. And so that will be good for them when they come back to India, and also good for them to learn to respect others. Anyway, I've strayed along from the topic, but that's the influence of the parents. Then, do we want to earn money to have a higher standard of living? I know a lot of girls who come from India. They come here, and their jewels are not just gold. They go for diamond and rubies, and they compare. Oh, so and so's wedding, everything was diamond. So, you must be hearing that type of talk. Then I thought, where is it going to end? You earn, and you want to have that prestige, higher standard of living, and higher, that showing off. So I said, Lord, thank you that from my small days, my dad brought me up without any jewelry. So when I go past any jewelry shop or watch or anything, nothing, it doesn't glitter to me at all. I don't even look like, because I said, not for me, it must be for somebody else. I'm not interested in that. So we bring up our children. We ourselves are like that. We'll bring up our daughters like that. And they will grow up to have the true values. I'm not saying anything to condemn anyone, but those are the standards which are worked in my life, and I'm happy that I'm thankful for godly parents, and you can be godly parents like that, and you girls who have to get married, you can be godly moms like that. Then, do you want to work for prestige? Sometimes we want to feel, oh, I've come up now. Now I'm a manager, or I don't know what it is in the technical world, but I've become a professor in my line, or I become a director, or some up and up and up. So we should see, why is it that you want to work, or do you want to tell your husband, not just you, I'm also working and earning some money, and this belongs to me also. Is it because of that? So we have to see, why are we working? And if you do have a work, make sure you cut out all those thoughts which come up to you. You don't think like, just because you're earning some money, you have access to go buy whatever you like. Oh, after all, it's my money, I'm buying with my money. No, it's not. Everything is whose money? The Lord's money. Lord, every cent that I earn is your money. You gave me the strength to work, the intelligence to study, and you give me a job. Many people are looking for a job. It's not my money. Everything is yours, Lord. If you give from your hand, like, can I buy this, Father? Okay, I'll buy it. If you need it, and the Lord not going to say, don't buy this, don't buy it. He said, He's like a loving Father. If you need it, go ahead and buy it. If it's spoiled and something is spoiled, yeah, go ahead and buy it. He's not going to be saying, why did you buy this? Don't condemn yourself, but say, Lord, everything is yours. I am yours. My money is yours. It's not my money. Everything that we have is for you. And when we got a house first in Bangalore, for many, we never even dreamt we'd get a house. But the Lord miraculously helped us to buy. After our ancestral property, we got our share. Then we said, Lord, this is not our house. It's your house. It's for your people. And God used that house to bless so many people. A church was started there. CFC was started there, and so many people have been blessed, and demons have been cast out. Lot of and my children grew up there. It's like home for so many people who are cast out of their homes, and they are nowhere to come. We say, come stay with us. If people want to have a vacation, yeah, our home is open. So the Lord took our dedication and used our home. So coming back to the money part, don't think that whatever you earn is mine to spend as I like. Say, Lord, I need this. Do you think I should buy this? Or like this, I like this thing which I saw in the store. Can I buy it? Ask the Lord. And the Lord, and you say, Lord, if it's, and talk to your husband, or those are parents, talk to your dad or mom, and after talking to your husband, you might say, okay, we'll see if it's still there. And he says, okay, and it's still there, you can be. But when you go there and you find it's gone, you say, okay, Lord, thank you, that's not for me. And then say, Lord, let me not put my heart on anything. I want this particular colored thing, or I want this. Say, Lord, everything I offer to you. I know I like it, but even my desire I give you. If you want me to have it, you want to make me happy, let me have. Sometimes I used to think, there were most of my saris were given to me by someone or other. And some sari I like and I feel like keeping it. And then God would give me a desire to give that to somebody else. And I'll think, and just so that I'll get the joy from the Lord, that I've given it and made him happy. And afterwards I'll think, I really liked it. Should I have given it or not? And then you won't believe, sooner or later I'll get two. Instead of one, I'll get two. Whatever I've given. Many times, and I feel like, Lord, you've done it too many times for me. Please stop. I know you're trying to teach me. I've given one and you're giving me two. You just try it. And if the Lord doesn't give you, don't say, you gave Sister Annie, but you didn't give me. You say, Lord, I'll give you something else. I'll give you something. But many times I found, if I've given away something, I get two or something better. So don't hold on to anything. If you have anything, or if you see something, especially here in US, you find so many things which you think are good and useful, which we can't get in India, and we think, okay, I'll get it for somebody else. Whatever it is, say, Lord, I put that desire in your hands. If you want, it's not for me, but if you want me to get it, I'll get it. Everything in life we can ask the Lord, Lord, should I do this or should I do it? Okay, that's about work. Wrote so many things, but I just said one point. Um, Another thing, yeah, the two things I said, no, the troubled sea, and the other sea is the sea of glass. This time I think I got the correct Revelation 4:6. It says that they stood in the overcomer stood on a sea of glass. If we overcome, Revelation 4:6. Right. Yeah. Before the throne, there were, and all these first few verses I won't read, but there you can read sea of glass like crystal. And in heaven, it's going to be like that. We are standing on a sea of glass where everything is calm. We don't have to wait to go to heaven to be on that. When the Lord returns, to be in that sea of glass, we can be right now in that sea of glass. Pictures. That means there's no unrest in our heart. There's no disturbance in our heart. It's always still. Let the children, whatever happens to children, like um, Michelle must have had many opportunities when her husband was away and things are not going right. And I'm sure God gave her grace to stand on that sea of glass. To be. I found many times when my husband has had to leave, and Divya also, her husband left for a few weeks. Many times when my husband had to go for ministry and the kids were sick, one time all three children had chicken pox, and we were having meeting in our house. So I had to keep everything on one side of the house, keep this part hygienic, and so that nobody would get chicken pox from my home. And my husband was away for 5 weeks. By the time he came back, everybody had recovered. But those are the times when we can say, Lord, I want to stand on that sea of glass. Whatever happens outside, it may be all um, turmoil. We get bad news that there's a riot somewhere else and they're attacking brown skinned people or whatever. Whatever happens, and Lord, I'm standing because you are my comfort. You're the one who's holding me. In the sea of glass is your hand. I'm standing on you. You're holding me up, upholding me. There's so many verses which say, I'll uphold you. So you're holding me up. So why should I be afraid? Let everything collapse. The whole world may collapse, but as long as I'm with you, I'm standing on that sea of glass. Nothing will disturb me. And inside, we can have that life. I think it was in some meeting recently when my husband spoke, where they said there is a place of quiet rest. Yeah, last week's Atlanta conference. There is a place of quiet rest near to the heart of God, a place when sin cannot molest, near to the heart of God. If we are near to the heart of God, whatever may happen in the world, whatever may happen in our workplace, whatever may happen in the work, in among our relatives, or college, or anything, um, if I'm near to the heart of God, if I'm with Jesus, then everything will be calm. And it's not like a pep talk I'm giving you. I have found, as I have taken this message that we hear in the church seriously, not just like, it's a good message, but here today, I thought it was such an atmosphere of reverence, just like yesterday's wedding. I said, Lord, your presence is here. You're speaking to so many people. You're speaking to me also. Help me. I wish I could be like this with you forever. Forget about all the earthly things. I want to remain with you. Such comfort in my heart. And you take the word which we hear in the church seriously. Take the word about taking up the cross, about submission, what we hear, about dying to ourselves. I told you, from how God gave me that desire to, if I want to read a book, no, I can help my mom now. And as you grow up, you think, oh, I want to sleep a little bit. No, I should get up. My children have to go to school, or my husband has to go for work, or I have to get this ready for something in the church. First, it's our family, then we get concerned with the church. I have to get things ready for the church. And like that, God will increase our thing, and we'll think less and less of ourselves and more of Christ and His interest. There's a poem or a song. I think written by A.B. Simpson. No, I hope I'm right, because if it's not, I'll correct it. Where he said, there was a time in my life where I used to say, Lord, I used to think all of self and none of Christ. All for myself. I want myself, my will to be done. I want to sleep. I want to eat this. I like this particular thing. I like this. I like these clothes. I. There was a time like that. Then Christ entered into my heart, and then there came a time when I would say some of self and some of Christ. A little bit of Christ, a little bit of self. And then I accepted the teaching in the church and the word and the words of Jesus, and took it to my heart and allowed my heart, myself to be broken. And I see God is telling me more of Christ and less of me, less of self. And I used to think, oh, that will be so nice if there's more and more of Christ and less, because myself is getting shattered, less of self. And then that song says, what a wonderful day it will be, Lord, in my life, when I can say all of Christ and none of self. And that's been my desire. As we grow older, Linda can say with me, as we grow older, we think of all the glories of our past education, our past things which are accomplished. Even when we see our children doing well and everything going smoothly, our health is okay, reasonably, and we get satisfied. I say, Lord, that's nothing. I want a time to come in my life when I can say, Lord, I want all my life to be all, not in heaven, but right here on earth. Let it be like this. I can say, Lord, all of Jesus and none of self. Jesus wants us to come to that point, not when we die. We can live our whole life as we like, earn money, and then on our deathbed we say, Lord, I surrender my life to you, I give myself to you. And all our children are around us watching us die, and they think, my mom had a glorious death. That means nothing. If I can say, Lord, while I'm living, I want to say, Lord, all of me is for you. If I am healthy, it's not going to be like I'm going to keep myself fit for my sake. But if I'm healthy, it's going to be for you, Lord, or for your children. I can do something. So wherever I go, I stay with my children. I say, Lord, I'm not come here for a holiday. I'm going to relax. I say, Lord, this is the time. My daughter-in-law is struggling with her 4 children, and she's waking up at night with this. Let me do a little bit so she can have a few days left. Let her go and have a date with her husband, one meal, and I can say, I can stay with the children. They are my joy. They are my grandchildren. And I look for opportunities where I can say, Lord, can I do something for somebody to help somebody's life easier, or somebody's, and all of you are doing that. I can see by the way you are loading me with food and things. All of you are doing that. But I want to encourage you, keep on doing that, and take the word which you hear in the church, take it to heart. Don't come and think like, the words which we are spoken here are gone to so many people, and people are told that has been a blessing. NCCF, the word they heard has been a blessing. Even yesterday, Jeremy was saying about submission and unity. That's such a just 2 words, but it's like a whole world. We submit to our husband, and we think, oh, I have to submit. But it's such a difference when we submit and there's unity. We love our husbands and we submit. And then it is not submission, it's not heavy. We are both one and we are doing things. I want to do what he makes him happy. He wants to do what my wife will be happy about. Then it becomes so precious. I thought those 2 words are such rich words. And so take all the words that we hear in the church seriously and say, Lord, somebody has prayed and prepared to give this message. They've been on their knees, they got up early, or been weeks thinking of this message and prepared, and they come. And I don't want to take it lightly and think, good message, that's good. And we don't remember, maybe we remember 1 or 2 sentences and go, say, Lord, that brother has prayed and maybe fasted and prepared, and maybe his children were disturbing and when he prepared, but he's given this message like beautiful meal He has prepared for us. Let me not put it aside. Let me take it with reverence and take it to my heart and obey it. He talks about submission. I'm not going to say, submission. Why should I submit? No, I don't want to speak ill of anyone, but in one of our churches in some other place, a visitor came and said, see, in so many churches, people don't cover their head. Why should we cover our head? So I said, if the Lord were to tell you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, like you should stand on your head, and or even the fitness people tell you every day you must try and do this exercise to keep healthy, you'll do it. And the Lord is just telling you, put a small piece of cloth on your head. It's not such a big thing. Even if you put a hanky on your head, say, Lord, I'll do that out of respect for you. You said it, I'll do it. So take it like that. And she said, yeah, I want to look at it like that. Don't think like what other churches are doing. And don't think like I'll interpret verses. I'm not judging anyone, but I'm saying, take it. If the Lord has said, if mommy has said, or dad has said, do this, I'll do it. Like that, we say, our Heavenly Father has said that, so I'll do it. But there's no compulsion. But every commandment of the Lord, take it like that. If the Lord has said it. Now I've gone way around, but and oh, kind of, I said about teaching our children to respect others, parents, elders. One time I went with my son for a big gathering of software engineers, and there was a Hindu man there, and he came by, and my son said, "This is my mom," and you know how the Hindu people are, the Indian old. He said, he started weeping, and he said, I wish my mother was alive. I have no mother. Can you be like a mother to me? And he wanted to touch my feet. In the Hindu culture, they touch the mother's feet to get their blessing. I said, no, don't you don't do that. We don't do that to anybody. But I will be glad to be like a mom to you, and just pray for me. He said. So I thought that much respect heathen cultures have, but we lose that respect when we think we take it so casually. We have to teach our children respect elders, talk respectfully, and we have to start at home. When they talk respectfully, call them aside and say, don't talk like that, in a nice way, because they don't mean what they're saying. Now I don't want you to copy the Hindu thing, but I'm saying that's the extreme form of respect. But teach our children to respect others. Then another word, which time is running out, maybe I'll have to do next week also. And another word which always comes to me is the word of Jesus, which says, abide in me and I in you. I told you some weeks back, how Jesus said just before he was leaving, he said, like a dad is leaving, and in whatever he says is very important. We take that seriously. So Jesus, just before he said, you abide in me. That means you be with me and I will be with you. And I thought, Lord, that's all that I want. I want to abide in you and you live with me. That means not just that Jesus is with me. If Jesus is abiding with me, I'll obey everything that he says. Whatever he says, Lord, if he says do this or don't do that, that's my way of showing that I love him and I respect him. Okay, I think we'll have to close now. It's 1:30, but maybe we'll continue some other time. Maybe I'll give a few minutes for any questions you want to ask. If you have any other questions, I can write it down and I can answer next time. 1:30. If not, you can write your questions down and we'll talk about it later. Okay. Okay, God bless you all. I've been so blessed by coming here and enriched by your fellowship and by your love. And I'm going to miss you all when we go back, but we'll have, like Jesus abide, we'll keep each other, remember each other in prayer and uphold each other and take God's word, what we hear in the church, seriously, and it will bring forth a lot of fruit. I was thinking when some of the conferences, when I sit and I hear my husband speaking, in the beginning it's like when the rain comes, few drops here and there. then it builds up, and it's like the lawn, whole lawn. It's not like heavy rain which is going to destroy, but just continuous watering, 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 and afterwards you see the green grass. It's like that. You take God's word and let it not hurt you. It's not there to hammer you or crush you or hurt you, but it's like the trinkling water, and it will bring freshness in our life. Okay. Lord, our Heavenly Father, we thank you and praise you for all the wonderful things you have for us and you are to us, Lord, and all the wonderful things that are ahead of us. We thank you, Lord, for that hope that we have, that life is going to get better and better for us. We don't want to look at our past, our failures, or our discouragements or anything, but we look ahead because you are our hope, you are our everything, Lord, our treasure. We get comfort and strength in you. And give us grace, Lord. Those of us who have jobs, give us grace to do our jobs. Those who have children, give us grace to be good mothers. And us all to be good wives, Lord, to our husbands, so that we can encourage them to preach your word and build your church, Lord. You know that in these last days, only your church is going to stand. Everything else is going to be destroyed. Help us, Lord, to have our priorities right and do our part in building the church. And our part is to really submit to you, submit to circumstances, submit to our husbands, and do our part in building the church. Thank you again, Father. Thank you for your love for us. Thank you, Lord Jesus. We worship you and praise you. In Jesus' name. Amen.